Thanks for checking out this video. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Feel free to cyberbully us in the comments. We can take it. We're big boys.
Please, we're so desperate.
Go easy on us.
Welcome to A Tribe Called Fantasy with your hosts, Greg and Justin.
Check the description for players that just didn't make the list this week, and leave us a comment if we forgot anyone on the list. At 18, we have Hayden Hurst, who's taking on the Green Bay Packers. I think it's a primetime matchup, right? I think it's a Monday night game.
Okay.
I don't know if that adds any value or not to Hayden Hurst, but
It just means the
notable.
Falcons are guaranteed to lose.
Absolutely.
Strictly a spot start.
I would agree. You're definitely hoping that he gets a touchdown. I mean, last week he didn't really get as much volume, but in weeks 1 and 2, he had 5 targets, 8 targets respectively. Last week dropped down to 3.
They are going to be definitely throwing themselves back into this game from the ass whooping that Aaron Rodgers is going to be putting on them.
I would agree. I think Hayden Hurst is a decent start this week, honestly. At 17, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Rob Gronkowski, former LA Lakers dancer.
Oh,
Rob Gronkowski, taking on the Chargers. May not have said that already.
dumb as a box of rocks, but has the body of a god.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Ever since he went on TB12 too, he kind of slimmed out. He's a lot more limber.
Is he back finally?
I guess that is the main question. Do you think Gronk is back?
It's the eternal question. If I was starting Gronk, I would be scared. It's a wait and see scenario. But I do think Tom Brady went out of his way to integrate him into the offense after he made his comment about being a blocking tight end.
Yeah, a bit tongue-in-cheek.
A little bit.
Cheeky Gronk. Let's get more of it. 7
targets, though. You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
It's Gronk.
I think this upcoming week against the Titans will kind of be the true not the Titans, Jesus, the Chargers. This week's matchup with the Chargers will be the true test to see if he can maintain that amount of target share. I mean, Chris Godwin went down, so Brady's got to throw it somewhere.
I completely agree.
At 16, we have Eric Ebron taking on the Titans.
Is he, though? Are the Titans going to play?
Oh, that's a good point.
Did COVID-19 come from the top rope, elbow down, and just fuck
buddy.
the NFL season?
You thought COVID was gone for 3 weeks. It was fun living in bliss.
Oh, yeah.
But COVID is back with a vengeance. I've heard that they might potentially move the games to Tuesday night. So we'll see what happens as the week plays on. It's kind of up in the air, but let's just kind of take the approach that they will play. I think Eric Ebron is a decent play this week against the Titans. Found the end zone last week and saw a significant amount of targets with 7. Those are solid target shares in a pretty prolific offense.
Yeah, I definitely think it was his potential breakout game. Hopefully he can stay consistent. It does worry me that Vance McDonald is still somewhat in the offense, but he's never going to find a complete role. So Eric Ebron will always have a chance.
At number 15, we have TJ Hockenson taking on the Saints. This past week, we saw the return of Kenny Golladay.
Ooh,
but it did not really impact TJ Hockenson.
If anything, I would say it boosts him because now the offense just looks more complete. Adrian Peterson also stepped up. I think he found his way as the running back 1. So overall, I think Hockenson is going to be on the uptrend.
I don't disagree. At 14, we have Dalton Schultz going up against the Cleveland Browns.
He's been real consistent so far ever since Blake Jarwin went down. 10 targets, 6 targets, and back-to-back weeks. Looking for a pretty good game, but could see a much slower-paced game with the Browns just feeding Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt every day, which, I mean, that's what they should do. But doesn't bode well for your fantasy when they've just played the Falcons in week 2, which was a shootout, and they just played the Seahawks, which was also a shootout.
I could also see the Cowboys pushing the Browns to kind of go more towards that direction. But, I mean, the Cowboys, if they want to just run the ball, they have Ezekiel Elliott, and they can do that too.
I agree.
So I guess it really just kind of depends on what the Browns defense is giving. the Cowboys offense, because I could see it really going either way, where the Browns are kind of having to push to keep up with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are kind of testing the Browns defense and pushing them up the field. But there are definitely a lot of mouths to feed, but the amount of targets Dalton Schultz is receiving is very promising.
I agree.
At number 13, we have Tyler Higbee. Last week only had 2 targets, coming down high off of the 3-touchdown game in week 2, but does have a very delectable matchup against the Giants.
They are trash without Saquon Barkley. He did catch a 2-point conversion too, so that's something good to look at when you're trying to spin the story your way. If you are a Tyler Higbee owner, he did so. Basically, he got a red zone target. That's what you want to see. But the Giants, man, that's where that's what's really holding on to this ranking right here. They're terrible against tight ends, and they've played tight ends that really weren't that great and given up production. And I see the Giants continuing down their snowball effect.
In this matchup against the Giants, would you say that Tyler Higbee's value increases or decreases because of the poor matchup? Because I could see them not having to air the ball out as much, but Tyler Higbee's a tight end, so maybe they're not necessarily going down the field taking shots with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, but kind of.
I think his role is steady no matter what, but I do think because Malcolm Brown has a broken finger, Cam Akers is out, so they're kind of relying on Darrell Henderson. It'll force them to spread the ball more, and Jared Goff loves a good tight end, and this might be the best one he's had.
At number 12, we have Mo Allie-Cox with a matchup taking on the Chicago Bears. Phillip Rivers, number 1 fan, is in the booth right now.
Ooh.
Justin, I know you love you some Phillip Rivers.
Oh, man. I'm a huge Phillip Rivers fan. I don't know why, and I'm actually lying through my teeth right now, but if you're Mo Allie-Cox, you should be a fan because that man does not throw to wide receivers. If you're a running back, if you're a tight end, congratulations.
Got himself a touchdown last week. Week 2 had 111 yards. He's seen a decent amount of targets in it, and he's definitely getting looked at to make some plays by Phillip Rivers.
I think we can look for something closer to week 2 than week 3 because they beat the piss out of the Jets. They were putting in backups, so I just don't think they really needed Mo Allie-Cox as much.
This sounds like just a terrible game, by the way. This should be the Thursday night game. Bears versus Colts. Not interested in watching.
Oh, dude, that's not even close to the Broncos-Jets.
Oh, that's even worse. How is that worse? How's that a worse game?
I do wish that the Thursday night game was this game instead of the Broncos-Jets, because if it was at 1 p.m., that means I don't have to watch it.
Very true. At 11, we have Evan Engram. The Giants are taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Evan Engram, very talented player, but has kind of struggled this season so far. Do you think this is possibly a breakout game for Evan?
He's still getting heavy targets, 7, 8, and 5 over the last 3 weeks, but without Saquon Barkley, the offense just looks terrible. Daniel Jones is trying to make a play every single time. He was the leading runner last game and in week 1.
Wow.
So
I did not realize that.
Yeah, it's been crazy, but I do think it's just real tough because you drafted him early, obviously, because he is a stud, just a good player, but there's no consistency in the offense, so the time of possession they have is so low that you're hoping that he capitalizes on the 3 and outs. Maybe he gets one catch for 6 yards, all 5 drives, and then you can be semi-happy with your performance.
Sterling Shepard being injured, I think, negatively affects Evan Ingram's value because they can just put more defensive focus on Evan Engram.
The Rams' defense is just nasty, too.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald just willed them back into that game.
I think, though, what we're kind of hoping for with Evan Engram, and I think what we both think we're going to see is the Giants having to make some throws to keep themselves in the game. I don't think that they will keep themselves in the game, but I think because of that reasoning, Evan Engram will see some decent target share and hopefully some big production because of that.
He's just too good not to play, though. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, very true. Very true. At number 10, we have old man Jimmy Graham. Bears taking on the Colts. Sunday's finest matchup. Nick Foles stepping in at quarterback can only help Jimmy Graham. We saw that in week 3. I know you love Jimmy Graham this week.
Yeah, I was a huge advocate for this move and location on the list, but I wholeheartedly believe in Nick Foles. Maybe not so much Jimmy Graham, but I think that because Nick Foles is there, he's going to see a steady target. He's going to see steady targets, and because of that, the offense is going to just do better because he's going to get more people involved. The play's not going to break down every time Mitch Trubisky feels a little bit of pressure on his backside, and then he scrambles up the middle, either getting sacked or busting it for 20 yards. But I just think Nick Foles is a tremendous help. And these stats over the last 3 weeks, week 2 was a sleeper, 1 catch, 18 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 target. But the first game he had a touchdown on 7 targets. Last game, 6 catches, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns on 10 targets. They were throwing themselves back in the game, but I think he's a steady start the rest of the season as long as Nick Foles can actually perform.
I mean, and he's a true seasoned veteran as well, so I think that he acts as like a very solid safety blanket for Nick Foles. I mean, double-digit targets, you can't ask for anything more from a tight end.
Hopefully he just gets rid of the drops.
At number 9, we have Mike Gesicki. The Dolphins have a very desirable matchup against the Seahawks. Last week, we kind of saw a dip in Mike Gesicki's production. He only had 1 reception for 15 yards, but he did have a touchdown. In week 2, he had 8 receptions, went for 130 yards, and had himself a touchdown and 11 targets. But in week 3, we only saw 3 targets, but Ryan Fitzpatrick was looking for him in the red zone, and he had a pretty athletic catch for his touchdown too.
I was definitely expecting more, but he's a monster. He's a game breaker when Fitz is feeding him.
I think this is a great week to play him too against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are giving up a bunch of points, and they're putting up a bunch of points.
Oh my God!
And if there is one thing Ryan Fitzpatrick is good at, it is throwing touchdowns and throwing interceptions.
That is very true.
We're going to see a lot of touchdowns. We're going to see a lot of interceptions being thrown as well. But hopefully Mike Gesicki is on the touchdown side of things.
Yeah, just got to hope Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't run his face into a brick wall like he normally does this week and decides to throw his way a little more because he was going crazy. He'll truck a middle linebacker. Like, it blows my mind.
He's an old man. What is he doing?
He's a Harvard graduate.
It's impressive. It's kind of sick. He's kind of one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch play.
I would agree. The CTE, though, is definitely affecting him and his decision making. he's back down to normal intellect, but still really fucking smart.
He's making a lot more money than us.
Yeah.
Doing what he loves.
Doing what he loves.
In Miami.
Making babies.
Yeah.
That's what he loves.
At number 8, we have Mark Andrews. This past matchup against the Chiefs did not do what you wanted him to do. He only had 3 receptions for 22 yards. He was targeted 8 times, though. Do you think we see Mark Andrews bounce back against the Washington football team?
I think he should bounce back, but my faith is wavering. He did drop he dropped a few catches. They were definitely tough catches, but normally you would see Mark Andrews make those plays. And it was just a little disappointing to see him come into the game on a bad game and then perform with 3 catches for 22 yards.
I think Mark Andrews being at number 8 on the list is very reflective of those disappointments you've felt with Mark Andrews. You drafted him as probably easily as a top 5 tight end.
Probably the 3rd.
Yeah.
You probably wasted your 40th to 60th pick.
No question. And he just hasn't put up those numbers. I think brighter days are to come. I think the Chiefs played really well against the Ravens last night. And like you were saying, there are just a few plays on 50-50 balls or, tougher catches that, his production would have looked a lot different last night.
He's still a great player at the end of the day. So I think one of these weeks he'll find a rhythm. But will it be against the Washington no-names? Who knows?
I think so. I think he's definitely Lamar Jackson's favorite target. So
I think
I
so
think
too.
that, that
I
you can't go much.
do believe Nick Boyle had a touchdown this week, so doesn't feel great that the second string tight end poached the
Yikes.
touchdown. But I'm sure the Chiefs were also game planning to remove Mark Andrews from the game script.
Just a rough day for the Ravens last night, or on Monday Night Football, I should say.
Absolutely.
At number 7, we have Hunter Henry taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How are you feeling about Hunter Henry this week?
This week he has a bit of a tougher matchup, but I'm loving Hunter Henry. If you are a Hunter Henry owner, you are probably pretty excited because model of consistency. 8 targets, 7 targets. And with Justin Herbert back, who knows when Tyrod will be back. It should be either next week or not this upcoming week, but the following week or the week after. But Justin Herbert is slinging the rock. Definitely is looking for him as the safety blanket. But the week 1 production with Tyrod Taylor kind of suggests that he was doing the same thing. So you never have to worry about who the starting quarterback is, which is always a big question mark when you have weird outcomes like this where doctors are popping lungs with needles.
Number 6 this week, we have Zach Ertz. Dallas Goedert just recently went down with an injury.
To the ankle.
Was it a break? Do you know?
I think he did break it, actually. He's put on IR either way, so he's going to miss at least 3 weeks with the COVID IR.
Zach Ertz has been a top 3 tight end in previous seasons.
Absolutely.
He's definitely been top 5.
I don't know about last season, but in previous seasons when Carson Wentz wasn't looking like hot garbage every week, he was looking real good.
Last week, Zach Ertz had 10 targets. Week 2, 7 targets. Week 1, 9 targets. He's been playing pretty decent. Dallas Goedert getting injured, I think, increases his value. There just aren't a lot of pass catchers on that Eagles team. So I like Zach Ertz's value going in to their 49ers matchup this week. They're kind of beat up. So are the Eagles. I think it should be kind of an unpredictable game.
I think the 49ers are still going to put a smacking on him, but like you were saying, all the pass catchers are hurt. Deshaun Jackson went down with an injury. Still waiting to find out what Alshon Jeffrey's going to do. So it's honestly just Greg Ward. Oh, Jalen Reagor's hurt too.
Yeah.
So it's Greg Ward and Zach Ertz.
Darren Sproles retired.
I didn't know that. That's hurtful, man. You just going to break that news to me like that?
Did you not know that?
No, I thought he was playing still.
Well, let me double check.
Don't fuck me up like that, man. Yo, that's a legend right there.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure he retired.
Weren't you telling me that like you just love Darren Sproles because you're also 5'5"?
Yeah, I am super short, and Darren Sproles has always been someone that I look up to in figuratively and literally, because I'm only pushing 5'4".
Yeah,
I'm super short.
Man, how do you get ladies being 5'4" and thin as a rail?
I just, I play in my field. I'm shooting at 2s. I'm shooting at 3s.
Damn.
Wait,
did he really retire?
Yeah, he really retired.
Fuck.
You trying to scoop him up off the waivers?
No chance. It's just sad.
It is kind of sad. I don't like a NBA, not NBA. Fuck, whatever this league
is
called.
You don't like NBA, man?
I don't like an NFL where there's no Darren Sproles, man.
Me neither. Go Hawks. Let's move on. That just hurts.
Number 5, we have Jonnu Smith. They're taking on the Steelers. Jonnu Smith has been on quite a tear. I know you love Jonnu Smith. Go ahead, give him some love.
Oh man, let me go in. 7 targets, 5 targets, 8 targets. But the main thing about him is that they are lining him up in the backfield. They're lining him up out wide. They're lining him up at tight end, obviously. But just I've never seen a tight end with so much pre-snap movement that isn't George Kittle or Travis Kelce. He's just a huge part of the offense. He's tied on the team in targets with Adam Humphries at 20. So they're definitely looking to throw him the ball and often. And he's just been making, honestly, Superman-like catches. They're not spectacular, but Ryan Tannehill is throwing the ball in the middle of traffic. He's getting sandwiched every other play, still bounces right back up. The dude's neck looks like a tire. It's insane. I've never seen traps that big, except maybe on the Rock XFL.
He might run for president. I vote for him. Not to get too political, but Rock 2020.
Rock 2020.
Not to rain on your parade, I do think that there is just added production here because A.J. Brown isn't out. I agree. I do think he's just a phenomenal athlete, but I think that it is important to note that A.J. Brown his injury is significant, and he's going to be seeing more time out. So, I mean, that only adds to the long-term value of Jonnu Smith. But
we can agree to disagree. I think Corey Davis is going to be the one that takes that L when he finally comes back, but
I could see it's a possibility.
Yeah, only time will tell. He looks good. He's a good player.
Yeah.
Either way.
Definitely looks good. That's why he's in our top 5 this week.
Yeah. You're happy you drafted him because you probably got him real late.
You may have picked him up off the waivers.
Even better.
To be honest. Number 4, we have Noah Fant on the prime time Thursday night matchup against the Jets. We do have some suspect quarterback play with
Brett Rippin.
Not a quarterback that we are very familiar with.
Yeah, I think he went 8 for 9. So
all right, very efficient.
His ninth, or his one that was incomplete, was actually an interception. So it doesn't make you feel great.
I think this is a very juicy matchup for Noah Fant. He's been a monster through the first 3 weeks. Last week had double-digit targets. He found the end zone in his first 2 weeks. But, I mean, I think that the only knock you could have against Noah Fant is the quarterback play, but I don't know that that's necessarily a knock. I think that having a solid tight end is just a good safety net for an unexperienced quarterback.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, the Jets are dog shit. So they're going to have a lot of time of possession compared to last week. So we should actually see an increase maybe of targets, or at least production, from the Buccaneers game.
Number 3, we have Darren Waller. The Raiders are taking on the Bills this upcoming week. How do you like Darren Waller going in against the Bills after a bit of a disappearance in week 3 against the New England Patriots?
He definitely disappeared, and I have little faith in Derek Carr, but I have faith that Darren Waller is a monster. But I can't even believe you tried to phrase this question to pass it off to me. I know you're over there trying to talk about some Darren Waller, bro. Pass the rock over.
Oh, baby.
Here's the assist.
We are marinating. First and foremost, I am so sick of the disrespect to Derek Carr. That's my quarterback. He is just getting slighted every chance he gets by the media. I'm not here for this propaganda coming from your mouth too, bro. Derek Carr is a more than competent quarterback. Darren Waller, I think, is a top 3 tight end from here going forward.
Nobody asked for this.
Oh, the people were asking. Week 2 had 16 fucking targets, 12 receptions, 103 yards. There are wide receivers who would pray for that type of production. This is your tight ends. This is your tight end you're playing. You start Darren Waller every fucking week. Don't even blink about the outlier performance against the Patriots. The Patriots just know how to take out key players. They've just done it time and time again. They're also just a superior run team to the Oakland Raiders. Sorry, what a slip. The Las Vegas Raiders.
Not even a fan.
Not even a true fan. Oakland Raiders for life, baby. I think that this is I think you can trust Darren Waller. There's just no one else on the team to catch passes. Derek Carr knows how to get the ball to his tight ends. He did it with Jared Cook. He's done it with Darren Waller last year too. So feel confident about Darren Waller and just kind of shake off that week 3 performance. And if the Bills do what the Patriots did, then I'm my bad. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Are you done?
I'm done.
All right.
I'm done.
Okay, all right. You say so.
Number 2 this week, we have George Kittle taking on the Eagles. We're both huge George Kittle fans.
He's a monster. Probably the best all-around tight end in football.
I would absolutely agree with that.
He'll block. He'll get in the nitty-gritty.
He loves to block too. He's just kind of a freak dude.
He's nasty.
He's definitely the tight end that I would want on my team. Fantasy team, maybe not this week, but
I have him on my fantasy team, and I am pleased with him. Although, obviously hasn't been playing. We're not going to find out about the injury information until tomorrow because we're recording this on Tuesday night. So if we do find something, we'll throw it in the description, or maybe we'll put up a little edit in there, something. But overall, if he does play, I think you can expect big things, even with Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins played in 2018. I don't know if you recall this.
Oh, I very much recall this.
Yes, and he was by far, George Kittle being he, was by far his favorite target. He averaged 10 catches a game with him over what I believe was a 7-game stretch. So either way, you get Nick Mullins, you get Jimmy G. If George Kittle's playing, you are very excited about it. Jordan Reed just got hurt. They put him on IR. So you're looking pretty good, and you're hoping George Kittle can come back and produce like he should have been the whole time.
And too, he's tough. If he unless he has a broken bone, he is, even with broken bones at times, he's still gonna play.
I do believe it's a bone bruise.
He wants to play. He's gonna play if he can. I think that it's very likely that we see him play. And like you're saying, his rapport with Nick Mullins, it's there already. He's just a safe target to throw to. He's also just a phenomenal athlete and a great tight end. And
For
Nick
sure.
Mullins is not a bad quarterback.
Could
He
be
put
way
up
worse.
over 300 yards last week.
It was against the Giants.
Fair enough.
Sorry, Giants fans.
But they're also taking on the Eagles. So it's not like the matchup is much worse.
Man, what happened to the NFC least?
Nice. Hell yeah.
It hurts.
At number 1 this week, the steeziest tight end in the group may or may not have an ear piercing. I lean towards more than likely has an ear piercing. Travis Kelce.
I can't believe you didn't do the research on that.
I know.
That's
Does he have an ear piercing?
so disappointed in you.
Probably likely he has an ear piercing.
I'm not going to comment on it because I
No comment on the ear piercing.
did my
huh?
research and I know the answer, but I just don't want to tell you to make you look better than me.
I almost guarantee he has an ear piercing.
Let's move on.
The Chiefs are taking on the Patriots. I don't think it matters who the Chiefs are playing.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter at all. It's
Travis Kelce's the best fantasy football tight end.
every year.
Every year, every week, play him.
The Chiefs are crazy. We'll probably see another run back of the Patriots Seahawks game, just with the Chiefs this time. Big scores, a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. I'm sure Travis Kelce will have one of them.
Thanks for checking out this video. If you have any issue with where we put any of these players or who we put on this list, go ahead and let us know in the comments. We can handle the heat, and we will not get out of the kitchen.
Bully us if you'd like. We're ready.
We can handle it. We're tough boys, but we are so desperate for approval. Hence the YouTube channel.